Hi friends! This week the book is called Oscar and the Frog, and it's a book about growing. One spring day by the pond, Oscar saw some creatures he had not seen before. Frog hopped up. "They're tadpoles," Frog said. "I was a tadpole before I grew up." Oscar stared at Frog. He didn't look like a tadpole at all. "Don't be silly, Frog," Oscar said, laughing. "It's true," Frog said, and he told Oscar how frogs grow. "At first, I looked like a dot in an egg. The egg was soft as jelly. I grew in the egg, and then I hatched out as a wiggly tadpole. I could breathe underwater through gills like a fish. I was hungry for pondweed. It helped me to grow. Later, my gills disappeared. As I grew lungs to breathe air with, I grew back legs, then front legs, and my tail started to shrink. After 3 months, I was a little frog. I kicked my new legs and jumped out of the water to live on the bank." "What else hatches out of eggs?" Oscar asked. They looked in the pond. Frog showed Oscar some eggs that have been laid underwater. Many water snails lay their eggs in pouches of jelly on stones or on plants. Dragonflies often lay their eggs on a plant stem just below the water. Fish lay lots of eggs. The perch winds her in long threads around plants, twigs, or stones. They looked on the bank, and Frog showed Oscar some eggs that had been laid where it's dry. Many kinds of butterflies lay their eggs on the undersides of leaves. When the caterpillar hatch out of the eggs, they eat the leaves. Many birds lay their eggs in nests high off the ground. Here the chicks will be safe from animals who might want to eat them when they hatch. Ducks often nest on the ground close to water, so their ducklings will be able to swim quickly away from danger. "Do plants hatch out of eggs?" Oscar asked. "No," said Frog. "Most plants sprout from seeds. Each plant makes its own seed. The seeds of an apple tree are stored inside of the fruit. Strawberry plants have small seeds on the outside of their fruit. Poppy plants have tiny seeds. They are light enough to be carried by the wind. Most seeds ripen above the ground, but the seeds of a peanut plant grow in earth. Coconuts are the seeds of coconut palm trees. They're huge and they can float. "Did I hatch out of an egg? Or did I sprout from a seed?" Oscar asked. "Neither," said Frog. "You were born. You looked a lot like you do now, only much smaller, with fur and with paws, ears and a tail. You were hungry for milk from your mother." "Why was I hungry for milk?" Oscar asked. "It helped you grow," said Frog. "Milk for you, pondweed for me, leaves for these caterpillars, and bugs for baby birds. We all need different food to grow." Oscar stretched. "I am so big now," he told Frog. "But you're not as big as you will be," said Frog. "Are you?" asked Oscar. "Yes," Frog answered. "I've stopped growing now. I'm as big as I'm going to get." it take to grow up? Oscar asked. It depends, said Frog. This flower will be full grown in a few days. But this young tree won't be tall until you're a very old cat. The baby birds will be as big as their parents next spring. Frog went on, but the tadpoles will take 3 springs or more to be as big as I am. Each living thing takes its own time. Just then, Oscar saw that his mother was coming. What about me? He asked Frog. How long will I stay a kitten? You will be a full-grown cat by winter, said Frog. As big as your mother is now. Oscar looked at his mother. She was much bigger than she was. Don't be silly, Frog, he said, laughing. It's true, Frog said. Wait and see. And this says, thinking about growing by the pond, Oscar found out about these things. Beginnings. Living things begin in different ways. Some hatch out of eggs, some sprout from seeds, and some are born. How did you begin? On your next walk, look for living things that hatch, sprout, or are born. He also learned about food. He learned that all living things have to have food to grow. They have to eat. They need different kinds of food. Pondweed, leaves, bugs. What helped you grow when you were very young? What did you eat that helps you grow now? And he also learned that living things grow at different speeds. They can either grow in a few days, a few months like the baby birds, a few years like a tadpole, many years like a tree. How long will it take you to grow as big as your mom or your dad? Oscar thinks growing is great. Do you think so too? The end. So that story was Oscar and the Frog, a book about growing. Bye.